no, we get. You only get one. You know, we don't get to try it out and then go, oh, you know what, I messed up, let me get another one. It doesn't work like that. And so we really, really, really need to take care of our bodies, especially children. We have to think about our kids. We have to think about our grandkids. So even if this doesn't apply to you, maybe you have family members that they don't know. Maybe you have a child they don't know, spouse they don't know. You really have to think about, could the diet be why they're having this problem? You really want to ask that question. And that's the first place to go before possibly going to medicine. Because sometimes when you get into medicine, you get the medicine, you get the side effects of the medicine, then one symptom turns into another, so you have to take medicine because you're taking medicine, you know? And so you really want to say, let me see if I can do this through diet first. Okay. Let me give you an example of a nutrient that a lot of people are deficient in. It's called potassium. You guys heard of potassium before? Potassium. What do you know about potassium? Anything? You've heard the name before? It is in bananas. You can get it from bananas and other foods we'll talk about. Anything else you guys heard about potassium? Okay? Potassium, what does it do for you? And the reason why I bring up potassium is because a lot of people are deficient in potassium. Well, what can happen if you don't have enough potassium? You know, we can cramp up with Charlie horses. Yes, you can. And also another thing that potassium affects is your blood pressure. So if you do not get enough potassium, your blood pressure may not be normal. So if you are always having high blood pressure, you might want to consider, am I getting enough potassium? And potassium, you actually need quite a lot for the day. Anybody kind of have a guess of how much potassium you might need for the day? It's kind of, it's milligrams, I'm giving you milligrams, but how many? 600? How many?
I was thinking 400.
Anybody got a guess about how much? This is an adult.
1,000.
Anybody? 4,700 milligrams of potassium. That's a lot of potassium.
It's not bananas.
So that can make sense why a lot of people are deficient. Okay? And so, again, if you don't have enough potassium, you can have the Charlie horses that you were talking about, where your muscles don't contract or contract incorrectly, so you walk around like, why my foot hurt, why my leg hurt, why my hip hurt, whatever. Your muscles, okay? So that could be potassium, not I just had a bad night's sleep or I don't sleep well. It might be potassium. Or then the blood pressure. And not addressing it could lead to what? Not addressing the blood pressure issue could lead to what? A heart attack, okay? So again, we can be our own doctor. We can solve the problem simply by eating the right foods. And because we need 4,700 milligrams of, this is adult, of potassium, then that might make us think, well, if I need that much, I can't waste my time eating junk food, right? Because I'm not going to get enough. You know, I'm probably going to be short anyway, but I'm definitely going to be short if I'm not, you know, eating the right things on purpose, okay? So you need about 4,700 milligrams. You can get about 600 milligrams of potassium in a cup of spinach. So about 6 cups of spinach will give you about what you need for the day. Now, you're probably not going to eat 6 cups of spinach. That's equivalent to like 2 big salads. You're probably not going to do that. 8 baked potatoes with skin will give you enough for the day. You're not going to eat 8 baked potatoes for the day. 8 bananas will give you what you need for the day. You're not going to eat 8 bananas. But what you might do, you might eat 1 or 2 bananas, 1 baked potato, 2 cups of spinach. You see what I'm saying? You put it all together, and you might get close to what you need. And not only will you get the potassium that you need, you're going to get the other nutrients that we haven't talked about along with it. You're going to get vitamin K when you get spinach. You know, you're going to get you eat, oranges, just different things, you're gonna get vitamin C. Some foods have a larger quantity of certain vitamins in them. And so that's why they're very, very important. But you've probably heard eat the rainbow. And that's where it comes from, because certain foods, certain colors have higher numbers than others. So if you eat red, green, yellow, blue, if you eat all of those foods and you eat the rainbow, even without counting, you're probably gonna get what you need. That makes sense? Okay, so I'm not saying you have to go around counting, because I do not count. I just eat a lot of healthy food, and I just kind of leave it at that. But I do suggest that if you're new at this, to look it up, to learn what's in this, what vitamins or minerals are people deficient in, what vitamins or minerals do I need if you're not feeling well. Okay, I'm always having stomach aches. Let's see what vitamin might be related to that, and then go through your diet and see, am I deficient? So I definitely encourage you to do that. But it's very, very, very important that you think about what you're eating and what your body needs. So again, the empty calories, we don't have time. We don't have room. So just giving you that number for potassium, that shows you an example that you do not have room to eat other things, because then you're not going to want the banana if you eat the donut. Okay? Who's heard of diabetes? Okay, what do we know about diabetes? What do you know? Not quite. Well, it can. It can. You're not wrong. It can.
It comes from eating like too much sugar and not eating very many healthy foods.
Right. Okay. Anybody else have any comments about diabetes?
Blood sugar, it's something to do with blood sugar and
Blood sugar, insulin. You've heard that magic word before? And now, I'm sure if I asked everybody in the room, if you know somebody with diabetes, you probably would say yes. Well, actually, let me clarify. Type 2 diabetes. Because there are two. There are juvenile diabetes, which is what most people are born with. We're not talking about that one. We're talking about type 2 diabetes, which is becoming very prevalent in our country. When I was a little girl, I didn't know any children with type 2 diabetes. I don't know about the people who are a little older in the room, but I didn't know anyone that had type 2 diabetes that was a child. That was a disease that older people got, okay? But nowadays, their children is under 10 that have type 2 diabetes, okay? And it's a serious disease, and some people don't really realize how serious it is because there's medicine, okay? When there's medicine, if there's a way to, I would say, just for lack of a better way of saying this, when there's medicine that keep you from dying, people take it and just keep moving. They don't necessarily become aggressive with trying to solve the problem. And so I believe that's where we are with that disease. You have type 2 diabetes, do your insulin shots, you're good. Not so. It is not that simple. It's not like a cold. It is serious. Type 2 diabetes happens when you don't get enough insulin or your body becomes insulin resistant. And typically, and this is not always, but typically diabetes, type 2 diabetes occurs from a poor diet. Typically, not always, but that's typically how it happens. Okay, so that means it's avoidable and it's preventable. But just because you get type 2 diabetes does not mean that's the end of the world. You can make it treatable, manageable, if you change. So it's not a death sentence, but it needs to be taken seriously. And a lot of people do not take it seriously because so many people have it, and we have medicine that can kind of keep it at bay. Now, when you have type 2 diabetes, what's the concern? Why do we even care? You got medicine. Why do we care about type 2 diabetes?
causes other issues.
Anybody know the issues that happen with type 2 diabetes?
Blindness.
blindness. Who wants to walk around blind? Not me. Anything else? What happens with type 2 diabetes?
Bad feet. Bad feet.
Everything. Bad feet,
Kidney.
kidney
Liver.
failure,
Loss of limbs.
loss of limbs. I mean, I want all of my limbs. I mean, call me selfish, but I just do. I want to keep them as long as I can. That's serious. I mean, that's serious. Yes, you probably going to still live, but you're going to be in a wheelchair needlessly. It's avoidable. It's preventable. And all we have to do, and I don't want to say all we have to do like it's so easy, but we just need to eat better. We need to consciously say, I have one body. That's all I get. I need to take care of it. We have to consciously make that decision. And as parents, we have to make that decision not just for ourselves, but for our children as well. It's important, it's critical. One thing about kids and people in general, usually you form the way you eat from the way your mother cooks, or father cooks, or whoever's taking care of you. You form the likes, dislikes. You know how you go to someone's house and they maybe cook something and you don't want it because it don't taste like mama. You know, because you just kind of form those likes and dislikes because of how you were raised. So as parents, it's important to teach our children to like healthy food. Because if we don't, when they become adults, it is a struggle. It is a struggle. You have to change so many things. You have to change your palate. You have to, you know, and I was fortunate because my mom, she actually liked a lot of vegetables. And so, although I did some other things when I became an adult, it wasn't as difficult for me to go back to eating healthy because I had some memory of that. And so it wasn't as difficult. So I can appreciate when people struggle when they were maybe raised not eating very healthy, because it is very difficult. It's where we get the phrase, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's where that comes from, because people get set in their ways. You get set in how the foods you eat. You know, if you want to eat your meat well done, that's just how you're going to eat it. You're not going to eat it any other way, because that's just what you got used to. That's what you like. And so you have to train yourself to like healthy food again, or for the first time, because you may, you know, have a very bad relationship with healthy food. And a lot of people do, especially if you were raised where vegetables took a back seat. And that's kind of experience I think a lot of people have, where the highlight of the dish was the meat and the starch, and maybe you had some canned peas, you know, and that was the extent of vegetables. And so if that's your story, it is very hard to say, you know, cabbage and apples and zucchini. It's hard to actually think of that as food, but it is. And I know I'm a vegetarian, by the way, and I'm not necessarily saying that you need to do that to be healthy, but I became a vegetarian just so that I could learn to eat vegetables again, learn to love them. And so that's kind of, I'm not going to get into that, it's kind of going in left field. But, oh, go ahead.
Is fruit important?
I'm sorry?
Fruit. Fruit is important. They're not just vegetables.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Oh, absolutely. And I get protein through beans, nuts, and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you need to be a vegetarian to be healthy. I'm not saying that. My family, they're not vegetarians. They're kind of flexitarians or everything else. But you don't have to be a vegetarian to be healthy. But that was one of the reasons why I actually became one, because I just started eating vegetables, and just enjoying them more and more and more. And so that is something that is very important for us. We have to start enjoying vegetables. We have to learn new ways to make them. We have to get our palates clean, reintroduced to food again. Sometimes we go, oh, I don't want that. Well, maybe try it a different way. I don't want that. Try it a different way, you know, because we need it, especially when we talk about these numbers we need to reach, right? We need to reach our 4,700 for potassium, so what are we going to do? You don't like bananas, okay, you spinach. You know what I'm saying? Find another way to get what you need, because your machine, your body, is not going to work if it's